need to start out with talking about who this guy is. So who is Ricky?
Hi, I'm Ricky. I am happy to meet you today.
I'm happy to meet you again too, Ricky. I love this guy. But maybe you could tell us, because, you know, a lot of people might be looking at him and going, okay, he's kind of an amazing, cool oddity, but Ricky does a lot of things. So talk to us a little bit about what exactly does Ricky do?
Yeah, you're quite right. Ricky is a highly professional device, and he's 2.5 years old, and he got a lot of friends actually among children on autism spectrum. He helps, he is working with therapists, and he helps them to make a good communication with children who are on autistic spectrum. So what he does, he goes to the clinic and works during the sessions with children and therapists. He makes the life of doctors much easier, of course. He can also work actually at home with a child, with a care, if the caregiver wants to have him at home, and it will make their life also much easier.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine what I have seen what happens when you bring Ricky into a room and you bring kids into a room. They are immediately drawn to him and they want to touch him. He's very soft, and they want to interact with him when they see that he's interactive. So but in terms of how that happens therapeutically and how it can help them, exactly what happens? How does Ricky do what he does in helping kids? What exactly? How does he do it?
Well, so, first of all, let's say that children don't feel threatened engaging with Ricky, yeah? And that makes their life much easier, the communication process much easier. So the process consists of 3 steps. First of all, the child makes communication with Ricky. Then the therapist expands this communication for himself, to himself, right? And then the third step is when the communication broadens to the family members. That's how it works.
Okay, I love that model, because we know that it's reinforcing for the children to interact with Ricky. But I think then people go, but how does that help in the outside world? But you've already got a system in place. So first, the child's interacting with Ricky, then the therapist gets drawn into it so that they're interacting together with Ricky, and then the parents do. You're building real skills. That's incredible. Okay, so you mentioned before that you can do this in many different places. Where can Ricky be working with children again?
Well, his main working areas are in hospital, in the clinic, and at home.
Okay.
You know, actually during the last year, Ricky has gone through a lot of changes.
Yes.
He was upgraded a lot, and actually now there are 17 categories that he's working with. They all relate to different areas of life. They relate to comparisons, colors, mathematics, personal knowledge, verbal child questions, non-verbal child questions, and so on. So there is a lot where you can go and work with a child.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that I noticed that's different about him from before, I mean, first of all, he's got a lot of movement that's going on that's independent. You're not doing anything, you're not pushing anything, and he's interacting with us, raising his eyebrows, moving his eyes. He's got a lot of stuff that's going on, and for a child who's on the autism spectrum, that in and of itself is fascinating because it keeps their attention and it's appropriate. We're modeling the behavior that we want from the children, that when we listen, we're not just stone-faced and still. So this already is amazing to me. But I also notice that before, when Ricky would come in, you know, he's got his chair, he's got his accoutrement, but he used to have to come in with a computer, and there was a monitor and all this, and there were wires, and it took a lot longer to set him up. And you're sitting there with a little itty-bitty laptop.
That's right. And you know what? This is one of the most important things that we got during this year. Actually, because I told you about the upgrades,
Yeah.
and now Ricky is absolutely wireless. Which makes
Amazing.
the life
So much easier to work with
Yes.
children in
Yes.
and it's so much more portable.